guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Simon with topdockpro, and today we're going to be working on this 34 Caymas center console. So we're going to be doing a refresh wash, which is our pH neutral wash with our Starke Replenish top coat. So this entire boat is ceramic coated with Starke Repel Pro as the base, and then we have Starke Liquid Thor as the topper. So we do this boat every single month. We're going to give it a good wash, make sure everything's clean, and then we're going to apply the Starke Replenish booster. We're going to take care of the seats, clean out all the compartments. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and I'm going to be walking you through that process. Now, before we get into the wash, I just want to go over pretty much everything you're going to want to have before you get started on a wash like this. Now, you can do this for any boats that are ceramic coated, or if they have Starke HyperHold Pro, any kind of sealant from any brand or any sort of wax. So this is a maintenance wash, and this is how you'd want to maintain your boat after a protection system about once a month, or kind of however you see need depending on your situation. Now, this boat specifically has a canopy, so it's going to be protected a little bit more from the sun, so we're going to get a longer lifespan out of the coating in general. But really, that's going to depend on your situation. If you don't have a canopy, you know, you're down here in South Florida, you know, even every 2 weeks is a great idea. Now, let's go ahead and go over everything that you're going to need to do this wash. So first of all, we have 2 buckets. So this will allow me and Quentin to be able to wash the whole boat, and we can kind of split up and work on different parts. Now, the first thing you're going to want to have is we've got some really soft microfiber hand mitts. So these are from the Rag Company. You can get these on Amazon. They're super nice, and they hold up for a while, but they're just really soft, so they're not going to scratch any of the surfaces. So we got 3 of those. We have a couple of scrub brushes. So now, depending on whether or not you ceramic coated the actual non-skid, which we did on this boat, then that'll depend on whether you want to scrub it really hard or if you just want to use the hand mitt. So we're probably just going to use the hand mitt. This is all coated up here, so it should clean up pretty easily. But on any of those tougher stains, then you'll want to use these. We also have some erasers with us. You always want to carry these. Sometimes the vinyl might get marred up, so you can kind of just do a light scrub with some soap and clean up any of that marring, any of those stains, any of those black streaks, and you can do that on any part of the vessel. We have our chamois, so when you're done doing this whole process, you can dry the boat. We also have a drying towel, which we'll show you guys later. And then that's really going to be a lot of the basic wash equipment. Yes, you can use a pull brush, you can use a soft bristle brush, which we have down there, but we're going to be using that for the hull sides only. And now when it comes to the actual products, we have Starke Ultra Clean. So if you're going to use a Starke coating system, you're going to want to use either Starke Pure Clean, the pH neutral soap. We actually have the SiO2 ceramic soap right here, so this is going to be great for maintaining your ceramic coatings. This is Ultra Clean. And then we also have Starke Venom. So this is going to be the really light rust remover. If you have any rust on the boat, if you have any water spots, you can do this. All you have to do is put a little bit on the hand mitt, and you just rub it across the stainless or wherever you see any stains. Maybe wait a minute or two. It's going to work in, it's going to pull those stains out, and then you can just rinse it off with water, clean it with soap to neutralize it, and then you'll be all good to go. We've got degreaser here. Again, on a boat like this, we may or may not use this. If you have any tough stains on the vinyl, any tough stains on the non-skid, you can use degreaser. We have some alcohol, which you would use for the glass. Now, on this boat specifically, and again, you can use this on the glass, on any of the screens, but on this boat, we coated most of that stuff, so we probably won't even use the alcohol. We'll just use Replenish. And then speaking of Replenish, we've got Starke Replenish right here. This is going to be their SiO2 top spray for any of their coatings, any of their sealants. This is going to be that booster spray. It's going to add extra shine into the boat, extra protection, and it's going to act like a barrier for, you know, dirt. Less dirt is going to stick to the boat, and it's just going to look super nice and kind of help your coating last a little longer. And then finally, typically we would, so generally for the vinyl, since this vinyl was not coated with ceramic, we would normally do 303 protectant on that. But today we have Car Pro Pearl, so this is just a little bit of a higher end product that you can apply to the vinyl, and just makes it look really nice, adds those oils in there, and protects against UV and sunlight, and kind of keeps that stitching from drying out. And then the last product is DNA Luminex. If we happen to find any spots that we want to add a little bit of protection on, whether that's the glass or any specific areas on the boat, we can add a little bit of this nano wax, and it just adds a little bit of extra protection. And it is a little bit stronger. It's a little bit stronger than Replenish. So if you have any areas that you want to protect a little better, you're going to want to use this. And then on the rest of the boat, you can do Replenish. So anyways, guys, we're going to be walking you through this whole process. I'll be sharing all the products as we're doing this. So that's just kind of a product list, and then you'll get to see us using them as well. So let's go ahead and let's get started on the wash. Alright guys, so before we actually start washing, I'm going to take you through the whole boat so you can see what it looks like before. So starting with the hard top, we've got a little bit of, you got a little bit of salt up here sitting, but as you can see, it kind of wipes right off. So we're going to take care of all that. I'll show you guys some of the compartments and kind of what the pre-wash is looking like on this boat specifically. We've got our front hatch up here. So we're going to want to do a little bit of cleaning in there. But as you can see, the boat stays in pretty good shape, just having the coating on it. As we work to the back, we got the seats over here, the vinyl, the outboard units. Let's open up one of the back hatches. So just a little dirty in there. We're going to take care of that. Got another hatch over here. Starting to get a little dirty, a little bit of rust stains in that bottom drain. But yeah, there she is. There's the boat. So when we get started on the wash, generally we start at the hard top, and then we also start from the front to the back. So Quinn's doing the bow, I'm starting up here on the hard top, and we're giving this a nice pH neutral soap wash, just a nice light scrub. Well, bro, I'm not in Alaska, man. I'm in South Florida. Hey guys, so now that we've finished with the whole top side, so we usually like to split the boat up between the top side and the hull. So we'll get all this done up here and then we'll do the hull. So just because the boat's big, we don't want the water to dry on us. But when it comes to Starke Replenish, there's two different ways to do the application. You can do a hydro application, which is, you know, you're gonna rinse down whatever area you're doing, you're gonna spray the Replenish directly on the surface, and then you're gonna actually rinse it off. So we're only gonna do that on the hard top just to show you guys. This is gonna be the least effective way to apply Replenish, but it does still work if you're in a quick hurry and you need to get something on the boat. It's still better than nothing. Just know if there's water spots or if there's any, you know, imperfections on the actual ceramic, this is just kind of gonna seal those in there temporarily. But I'm gonna show you that right now, and then we'll show you guys the rest of the process. So basically what we'll have to do is we'll have to dry the rest of the boat and then do the hand application. So we'll do 2 microfibers, one to wipe in and then the other one to wipe off. But let's go ahead and hop up here on the hard top. So I'm gonna rinse it down, make sure it's nice and wet. So when it comes to hard to reach areas, or just comes to areas that, you know, have a lot going on, even on the hull, you know, if you have a wraparound dock, sometimes it is nice to be able to do this. So I'm gonna show you right now. So we're basically just gonna mist it over the whole surface. And by the way, when you do this process, you will use more product. All right, so now we got that half done. We're gonna go around to the other side. So just to do this hard top, I use probably like almost a half of a bottle. But also you don't need to let it set too long. So maybe 10 to 30 seconds max. Like especially if you're in the sunlight, you want to get it off pretty quick. But we're gonna full beam rinse this off, and we want to make sure we get all the Replenish off. Otherwise, it's gonna be streaky. There's a little bit of you know, SiO2 in there, a little bit of silica. So it's just from that. So you want to make sure you rinse it off completely. All right, so that's how you do that. As you guys should notice, it's gonna be really hydrophobic because we just put silica on it. So, you know, now you've got a little bit extra shine, you got more hydrophobic properties, so it's just gonna bead a little better. And then now you've got a little layer of protection over the ceramic, and it kind of acts like a shield to help the ceramic last a little longer. So if you do this on a monthly basis, it will make a big difference. And now that we're done with this, we can actually dry it, and then we're gonna show you guys how to do the other application method. We got the little Milwaukee blower there, and that just helps us get some of the water off the boat initially. And then Quinn's got the chamois, so obviously just a standard chamois that helps dry the boat. And then over here I've got this drying towel. So we got this from Marine Detail Supply. Pretty large towel, definitely cuts down on drying time. So that's what we're using. We're not really gonna film too much of just drying the boat down, but we wanna get it pretty dry. It doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty dry, and then we'll do the Replenish application. So I'm gonna be working on this glass. I gotta dry up under here, under the hard top. Obviously we gotta run through all these compartments, just dry everything really nice. If you leave too much water in the compartments, then especially down here in South Florida, they will mold over time. So you wanna make sure all that gets dried pretty good. We're just getting started here on the Starke Replenish on the top side. So we're gonna take you with us and show you guys how to do that. So you can do this for any surface that's coated or even not coated. But mostly it's gonna be your gel coat, your non-skid, your stainless, your glass, your vinyl. Unless you have your vinyl ceramic coated, I would prefer like 303 or pearl. So we're not gonna do the vinyl, but everything else, I mean, you can do plastics, all that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna get started over here on the gunnel cap. Just kind of show you guys like a section of what we'd be doing. So I think Quentin left off over there. So let's come on over here. So you can either spray it on the surface or you can spray it on your towel. And then all we're doing is we're gonna wipe this in. you know, hit the metal while you're here. And you're just gonna let it sit for a second. And then we're gonna come back with the second towel and just kind of wipe it off. So the reason this is better than the hydro application is just because, you know, when you're doing the hydro application, you're kind of watering down the product. So it's not as concentrated. When you actually just do the replenish, like the way we just showed you, then you're getting the full, you know, 100% product on the surface. So that's why they recommend this. So Starke recommends it this way just because it will last a little longer and you'll have better results. Now we're gonna run through this whole boat. I'll show you guys a little piece like on the glass. So same kind of process. And then if you guys have any like really light water spots, sometimes the replenish will kind of take that right off. So it's just a really nice way to finish out the boat when you're done doing a wash. So wipe it in nice and good. And then our second towel, give that final wipe. And you can just see how nice and shiny and just all the clarity there is in this glass now. And then that just helps the ceramic perform better. It keeps, you know, if you got sealant on here, keeps it performing better. And then if you're out on the water, you catch some waves, you know, you're gonna have great visibility. The water's just gonna roll right off. So we'll probably show you guys a little bit more of some of the clips of us doing this. And then after that, we'll be going to the haul. We gotta wrap up the haul. But yeah, guys, we'll keep you updated. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna apply Pro Pearl to all the vinyl. So this is a little bit of an upgrade from 303. We would normally do 303 on our maintenance, but we just honestly didn't have that today. So we're gonna use Pearl, kind of upgrade a little bit, and we're gonna put that on all the vinyl. And it's gonna make the vinyl look really nice, add that nice little coat of UV protection, keep the stitching nice and, you know, smooth and not drying out and cracking out. So let's go ahead and get started. We're just gonna put a little bit on a towel. We're gonna wipe it in and just kind of leave it. All right, so just a little bit like that. And then we're just gonna wipe it into the seats. You can see the nice sheen it has. Just a nice quality product. And yeah, we're gonna hit up all the vinyl and then I will show you guys what it looks like. So here's what the seats look like. We just finished up all the seats. Nice and clean. Now they have a good protectant on them. And you can dilute Pro Pearl a little bit with water if you do want it to not be so thick, because it is a very thick product. It's just very rich. So if you do want it to behave more like 303, you probably just do 50-50 with water, and it'll be a little easier to apply as well.
Yeah, from this angle I can see like 3 or 4 at least.
You got the smoothest puck shirt on today. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap to the video. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we are an affiliate for Starke Yacht Care, Ceramic DNA. So if we used any of those products, you'll see that in the links below if you guys want to purchase. We always appreciate your support. And yeah, guys, we will see you on the next one. Peace out.